Hey everyone, my name is Prince, and welcome back to another video talking about God of War news. For those of you who are new to my channel, this is really not the sort of thing that I usually do, but the last video I did on God of War news actually did pretty well, so I'm back talking about some more God of War news. And once again, if you are new to my channel, I'm currently streaming God of War Ragnarok every Wednesday at 8 PM GMT. I finished the main storyline last week, so now we're moving on to all of the post-game stuff. So if you don't want to miss any future videos or live streams from this guy right here, including the rest of my God of War Ragnarok playthrough, then go join the casual Discord in the description down below, where you'll be automatically notified whenever I upload a video or go live. But moving on to the actual topic of this video, we're going to be talking about the rumored next entry in the God of War series. In the last video, I talked about the recently cancelled live service God of War game that no one ever asked for or wanted, but today we're talking about something potentially being made by Santa Monica themselves. Now obviously, since the release of the Valhalla DLC for God of War Ragnarok, we've all been eagerly awaiting news of the next entry in the series. And the prevailing theory was that the next God of War game was gonna take Kratos to Egypt, as not only is Egypt, I'd say, the biggest mythology out of the ones that Kratos hasn't encountered yet, they even made a point to tease Egypt in God of War Ragnarok. A symbol representing the concept of life comes from a land I've longed to visit. The civilization from which this artifact originates is said to be both ancient and technologically advanced. They worship half-human, half-animal gods who, from what I've heard, rule with wisdom and humility. That said, one should never trust gossip, especially not when it comes to gods. And on top of all of that, all the way back when they were making God of War 2018, they originally considered taking Kratos to Egypt before they settled on the Norse mythology. So there definitely is evidence to support the idea that the next game will take place in Egypt. But so far, there hasn't been any actual evidence to support this actually happening. Until now. Once again, this video stems from God of War trending on Twitter and me going to check it out. And once again, it was on Twitter that I encountered a new bit of news that was quite a bit more hopeful than the tweet that inspired the previous video that revealed the whole shit about the live service game. Twitter led me to an article by thegamepost.com, and this article included the following. According to a new report, Sony is likely working on a brand new God of War game set in Egyptian mythology. This information comes from Daniel Richtman, a well-known source for insider scoops in entertainment, who shared the news through a post on his Patreon. Richtman revealed that Sony is currently casting Middle Eastern actors for an unknown AAA title. He added that the project is likely going to be the next God of War that explores Egyptian mythology. Now, obviously, when we're dealing with insiders and leaks and stuff like that, it's important to take everything with a grain of salt. So this very well could end up being absolutely nothing. But I don't think this is something that we should just ignore. So let's talk about everything that this could mean. Now, the first thing we should talk about is Santa Monica themselves, because something that a lot of people don't seem to know is that a while back, it was actually sort of revealed that Santa Monica is apparently working on a brand new IP that isn't God of War. Apparently one of their ex-employees was asked to come back to work on a new IP, which would actually mark the first new thing they've made since they became a thing. Literally since the very first God of War game, they have done nothing but make the God of War franchise, which obviously isn't a bad thing because, you know, we all love God of War. So if we found out months ago that Santa Monica is supposedly making something new that isn't God of War, then surely rumors of them actually making a new God of War game now are complete nonsense? Well, actually, this could be a result of the live service God of War game getting cancelled. Because think about it. Santa Monica are owned by Sony. Sony is their publisher, so Sony is in charge of telling them what they can and can't do, basically. And up until, like, a week ago, they probably didn't have any reason to tell them to go and make another God of War game because they had Bluepoint Games making the live service one. But because that one is now cancelled, maybe Sony has gone to Santa Monica, listen, we were gonna have that live service God of War game, but that hasn't worked out. Can you make us another God of War game, please? Now again, of course, there's no actual proof of this being related to God of War directly, but at the same time, obviously, God of War is one of Sony's biggest game franchises. They know that people love it, and of course, the obvious point, Middle Eastern voice actors. Middle East referring to the region of Earth that contains Turkey, Iran, and, funnily enough, Egypt. And the fact that it's Middle Eastern actors, plural, sort of makes it sound like they're hiring a lot of them. So they're not just hiring one or two to play like one or two Middle Eastern characters. They're hiring Middle Eastern actors for a game that is going to be primarily Middle Eastern based. And of course, this fits perfectly with the rumored God of War Egypt game, or, you know, whatever they're gonna call it. Honestly, I think God of War Egypt is probably the most likely title if they are indeed going that direction. So to sum all of this up right now, basically all we know is that Sony is currently casting Middle Eastern voice actors for an unknown AAA game, which could very well be the rumored God of War Egypt game. Again, none of this is confirmed right now, but I think there's something there. I think this very well could be referring to the next God of War game, and you know, this is exciting, because so far we've had literally no confirmation that the next God of War game is even happening yet, especially with the whole thing about Santa Monica supposedly making a new IP, so I think there's three possibilities right now. Number one, this is all bullshit, which, you know, could very well be possible. I'm taking everything with a grain of salt right now until we see actual evidence. Number two, which I think has the possibility of being the most likely scenario, Santa Monica were working on a new IP, but now that the God of War live service game was cancelled, Sony have basically just gone, would you please make us another God of War game? Or alternatively, number three, the whole working on a new IP thing isn't even true anymore, and ever since Valhalla released, they have been working on the next God of War game. Either way, this news is pretty exciting, and I am very much looking forward to seeing if it ends up being true. Because while, of course, everyone wants a new God of War game, I personally am really hoping for a new one, because I'm someone who only got into God of War after the release of Ragnarok, so I'm really hoping for a fresh new God of War game that I can experience as a new God of War fan for the first time. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and go join the casual Discord in the description down below, and I will see you on another video or stream very, very soon. Goodbye, everyone.